Hey Kotaku, I am here looking at Killzone Shadowfall, and I'm here with Herman Hulst, who is the creative director on Killzone. And Herman, why don't you tell me a little bit about this game?
Yeah, so you're playing one of the early missions. You play as a Shadow Marshal, which is new gameplay for Killzone. You just use the zipline, which is one of the many new abilities we have available. It's enabled by a robotic flying companion that we call the Owl. There are many abilities. So one of the first things that I think you see when you boot up Killzone Shadowfall is a fresh new look. So you're fighting here in a forest. You're behind enemy lines, so you're performing a deniable operation. And you've just fired and alerted all of the enemies. Good job.
I like a challenge. I like dying a lot. That's why
exactly.
I did that.
So they
really just like getting destroyed.
The patrollers now are they just set off the alarm. They're calling in some reinforcements, which are going to give you a tough time.
Okay. So
you see these guys. There's a second enemy type there. They're carrying a shotgun, but also a flashlight to blind you.
Yeah, I'm gonna die very shortly.
So you can also press down on the D-pad, and that will give you what we call adrenaline mode, so it slows down the game. But it does use a health pack.
Okay. Just did that. Where should I go to
yeah, that's great. So go towards that smoke.
Okay.
A little bit to your right. That's where your crew got stranded. They are carrying some intelligence that you want to retrieve.
So
that's
you
why
actually
you're
have
here.
to use the touchpad in this.
Yeah, so the touchpad is for, we're using that to select the owl abilities of your robotic companion. And it's, as you see, free form, so you can fly to the craziest places.
Yeah.
Including places where you're not supposed to go. But all of that is fine. So you can go across.
But if you just told me that I can go there, then I am
and you
supposed
did,
to go
right?
there.
That was great. But you will be shot in the back.
There we go. Okay. Shit.
So that would be a good moment to send in the owl in attack mode to help you
Too late.
fight these guys. I'll tell you earlier next time.
Okay.
So a lot of the abilities from Killzone 2 and 3 is still here, like this brutal melee that you can now use from the zipline.
Okay.
So as we were just discussing, the level is a lot more open than what you're used to in Killzone, which of course is enabled by the PlayStation 4 being a lot more powerful.
So right now nobody knows that you're here.
Nobody knows. So these guys, I just use my scan to see where they are. There's an enemy here that I dropped down on and brutal meleeed him. There's a bunch of guys there, so I'm going to try and make sure that they don't use this alarm system, which is going to call in some pretty nasty troopers. So send in my owl in attack mode. We'll draw fire from them. And he just took care of the second guy. So let me see, pick up an ST-25, is a nice weapon. So notice the pretty graphics here. It's got a fresh new look.
Yeah, how long have you guys been working on this game?
So right after Killzone 3 shipped, really, we started work actually a little bit earlier. So it's been a good 2 years now.
Okay.
A little more. It will have been 2.5 years.
Okay.
So I send in my owl to do a shock mode, and I also slow the game down by using one of my health packs. Which is a really great feeling. And so you've got about 7 or 8 seconds where these guys are not in a state to react. So the owl will draw fire.
So tell me a little bit about what you've been able to do on this game that you were not able to do on the PS3 or other systems.
I think this is a matter of boundaries. Making games is always about trade-offs.
Yeah.
And so it's always, you're going to have a bigger map or more enemies. And right now it's about higher fidelity, more realistic animations, a lot more guys on the screen, a wide open map. But I guess most importantly, you can complete the objectives in any order you want to. This is a real nasty new enemy type.
Yeah.
This,
what's that?
This sniper guy. He can. Whoa. He can teleport,
Yeah.
and he can cloak. Makes him pretty aggressive. So we call back the owl. Swipe to go back to the other side.
So I felt it felt a little bit, or at least I wasn't used to swiping while playing. Does it take a while to get used to that, or is that something that?
So we've actually, if you look at the weapon here, it's one of the standard functions of the Shadow Marshal rifle. We let you extend it, and that makes a lot of sense since the map is so much bigger now that you have a more longer range weapon with you all the time.
But as far as the controls go, when I had to swipe the touchpad in the middle for using some of the techniques and stuff, I'm not used to doing something like that when I play a shooter game.
That takes a few minutes to get used to.
Yeah.
But my experience is that most people get used to that relatively quickly.
Okay.
It's actually, we have an alternative control for that, but in the studio, most guys very quickly go for the swipe.
Yeah,
you get like 4 gestures in one control mechanism. So these are actually on the screen now, the guys that you came here for. These are the crew that were downed, and picking up the intelligence that you want to make sure that it's not going to get in Helga's hands.
Cool.
Timing is another new ability we didn't have before. Let's see, where am I? So anywhere you can, it looks like you can climb, you will be able to climb.
Cool.
So it's trying to get out of this corridor here.
Yeah, this looks really interesting.
So I'm gonna looking to place some C4 on this intruder, destroy all evidence. I'm gonna extend my gun now. And that packs a really nice punch.
Cool.
Send in the owl, draw fire on those guys. And you can control it, send it anywhere, right? You can send it there, or send it forward. That's the whole thing about Shadowfall. Everything is about giving the player as much freedom as possible. I go back into adrenaline mode here, because I have a lot of guys right in front of me.
Well, yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time to show us this game, Herman.
You're very welcome.
Much appreciated. So this comes out on the PS4. This is a launch game?
This will be right there at launch.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right, thanks.